Good day, everybody. Welcome to the Multiverse of Entertainment podcast for another week of TV and movie nostalgia, basically. And today is going to be no exception. We're back on the TV shows. This is episode 8. And we are ready for literally the show that started it all, really. It is the one and only show that pretty much started all the like talent shows that I remember anyway. We're talking about Pop Idol, and this for some of you who are like probably born before 2003 probably won't remember this, but anyone not even 2001 to be honest though. Like anybody born like in the 90s or beyond or before the 90s will remember this show, and it quite captivated the entire nation. Not it's one of those iconic shows, which we'll talk about more and more later on. But we would like to thank you for last week's episode, which was Starship Troopers. I know many of you really, really like that, so appreciate it. And the numbers are really, really good. The numbers are very, very good, and I'd just like to say thank you for viewing, for listening wherever you are right now. I do appreciate it. And more episodes are coming, so stay tuned for this. But without further ado, we're gonna be going back into the podcast now, and we'll talk about Pop Idol, which first came to our TV shows here in the UK on October 6th, 2001. Let's go. So, Pop Idol. I mean, oh, this brings me back to my childhood. It's incredible that this is like over 20 years ago since the show last aired on our screens. Um, so for everyone who doesn't really know what Pop Idol is, Pop Idol was kind of one of the first like singing talent shows that we get regularly now with like X Factor and Britain's Got Talent and all these kind of like, and The Voice as well. If it wasn't for shows like this, none of these shows would exist. So you go through, you look at the history of British television, and you just see how phenomenal and how crazy this show was. The Obviously the first show it took place in 2001, so October. So right about this time when the show comes out, uh, the 9/11 attacks happen, and there is a lot of grim news on the show, which is understandable. Um, on TVs about the attacks, and then the war in Afghanistan was starting to like kick off there as well, and there was quite a few, and quite few things where the world was tired, the world was scared and didn't know what was going on. But shows like Pop Idol, Big Brother, and all these like reality slash entertainment shows were there to like take the relief, like take the thought away, saying, here, there's a lot of doom and gloom in the world right now. Watch this on our TVs on a Saturday night and forget about what's happening. And this show, at the time, even I watched it I don't watch talent shows that much anymore, but like I was I was 11 years old when this show came out, and it was captivating. It was really really good, really really fun. Um, so the format of the show really is they had 10,000 when I researched this. They had 10,000 members of the public sign up to the show for a chance to win like uh, a recording contract and to become pretty much the next pop star, pop idol of in the UK. And you'd have to go through like stage processes. So like you go to the venue, which I think they did spots from across the world, across the UK. There was London, Birmingham, Cardiff, Liverpool, Manchester, Edinburgh, Glasgow, I think as well, Newcastle, but pretty much all like the big and major cities, which is the norm what they do now. And you'd have to go into a room. So you got the audition stage where you go to a room, and then you have to sing a cappella to for judges sitting in front of you. And pretty much all the judges here, as far as I'm aware, were all like big music producers, DJs, personalities who had been in the who'd pretty much been in the music business all their life. So you had judges like Pete Waterman, Nicky Chapman, Neil Fox, who was a radio presenter at the time as well. And obviously, everybody knows who Simon Cowell is. Simon Cowell, one of the big three, big four, still doing like talent shows now to this day. The show is obviously presented as well by Anton Deck, like very very young Anton Deck as well. So this was like their uh opportunity to expand their careers as well, because this was kind of like the precursor to what they would ultimately do later on with like I'm a Celeb. Not so much they didn't do X Factor. And the Deck certainly take away um a few others as well. Britain's Got Talent as well. So everybody here are like all like the judges and the presenters had their like goals, to be bigger what they were, but they didn't really focus on themselves. They were focusing on the young men and women um who were coming and quite bravely. I don't think I could do this. I could never do it. I can't sing for shit. But fair play to the young men and women who the good ones and the bad ones. We'll talk about the bad ones as well. Um, that to go up there to get filmed. I don't know if all of them got filmed, but like the ones that came on TV, so much balls to like sing, and whether they were good or bad, it was good TV. It was really really good TV back in the day. Obviously, you go through like the audition stages, and then I think then they went to. Did they go to the judges' houses then? I think I'm not entirely sure. I'm going off this by memory. I think they did do the judges' houses at this time, or did they just? Oh, they could have been in a house. Actually, they could have been in a house, where they would sing with different judges, and then the judges would come together and decide who would become the 10 finalists. The 10 finalists of of the series, and then would go on to like the live shows where the public would phone in and text in uh their vote for who would go through the next round, who would get eliminated, obviously. Now, this is one of the very again, this is groundbreaking because it's one of the very first phone in shows. Yeah, one of the very first uh phone in shows to vote on who the public wanted to stay out of. Now, it was good fun. I don't remember any my family voting for it at the time, but it was one of them where you're like you had to vote, and the vote did matter. Not so much these days where it's not so much a phone call anymore. It's like you go on your app on your smartphone and then download the app, click a button, and then go. But yeah, this is really, really groundbreaking. I know before this as well, we had like Pop Stars and Pop Stars the Rivals, I think, which it was like boys versus girls, or the band. There were battle of the bands. I'm not too sure, but we'll talk about Pop Idol another time. So so once you get through the stages, you obviously get to the grand live final. Excuse me while I have a drink. Lovely. And this would be like the theme for this series and the following series that followed on. And you had some noticeable uh people come onto this show as well. Like, we'll talk about season one first, and then we'll go on because I've got the percentages of like the votes as well. Because the live finals were 9 weeks, so each contestant had to sing a certain song within them 9 weeks, and they'll obviously whittle from 9 or 10 contestants down to like the final two on the ninth week, and you got some some talented men and women here. This is season one. You've got Will Young, Gareth Gates, Darius Campbell, who sadly is no longer with us, Zoe Barquette, Haley Evans, Rosie Robbins, Laura Dorothy, Aaron Bailey, Jessica Gallic, or Gaelic. I'm saying I don't know. Sorry, Rick Waller and Corbin. Now these were the original finalists of season one, and you've got like now I think Darius wasn't had been eliminated previously, but Rick Waller was withdrawn from the show, and Darius was brought back into the show, which was kind of cool because it hadn't happened before. I don't know why Rick Waller had been like taken out of the show. I have been trying to research it, but I have no idea how. But all these guys and girls battled it out, and it was quite, as far as I remember, quite competitive. Unfortunately, I can't put any sound bites in on this episode like I have done previous episodes because they're very, very scarce. Very scarce. Because you try and search Pop Idol on YouTube, majority of the time it's like Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, and the various spin-off shows as well. So I'll just go through them each by week by week. So Corbin was eliminated first week. Jessica Gallo was eliminated on the second week. Aaron Bailey was eliminated week 3. Laura was eliminated week 4. She only had 4.3% of the vote. Rosie Robbins was eliminated on week 5. Haley Everett was eliminated week 6. Zoe Barnett, who became 4th, was eliminated week 7, and then Darius came third. Uh, and was eliminated in week 8. So you had Will Young and Gareth Gates, who consistently through the weeks had been the top two singers in contention to win the show. Because by looking at it, you can find it on Wikipedia now. That Gareth Gates was like second, literally nipping at the heels of Will. So like Will was like first for the first 4 weeks. Then it changed. Gareth Gates then was first place for 3 weeks after that, and then obviously week 8, Will Young was on top of that, but they weren't. They were very very close on week 8 together because Will Young had 39.8% of the vote, and Gareth Gates had 39.3% of the vote, which is incredible, which is really, really incredible. And uh, they had they did break the world record as well. I can't remember how many people, how many people um voted for in total. I did see it on a video earlier, but I can't remember what it was. But ultimately, Will Young became the first winner of Pop Idol with 53.1% of the vote, and Gareth just missed out with 46.9% of the vote. But they obviously had a pretty good friendship going on. Will, if you watch the show back, Will Young was a worthy winner, and he's had a flourishing career uh, when it comes to Pop Idol. After his win of Pop Idol, I mean, he's been singing now for about 20 years. Gareth Gates had some success and then stopped after a while. Then he did come back, and then he didn't come back. He's in the public eye now and again, like here and there, but ultimately, it's the proof like that everybody uh can achieve success with these talent shows. Will was obviously a prime example, having been successful. As we go on through the time with other talent shows, 9 times out of 10, the winner isn't always the one that's the successful person. It's more of the runner up or the third place person who has had the more success with uh with their careers, which is quite astonishing. You would think that the person who would win would have a flourishing career, and then turns out it's not. It's the runner up or the third place. But then you can't, when you go into these shows, you can't have like that mental attitude of like, well, if I don't win, I'll still have a flourishing career, because you don't know, because you need to put the hard work in. Obviously, I'm not a singer. I don't know how hard it is to. Uh, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna pretend how easy it is either, because I just don't know. But from the amount of music, what people put into their music, and everything else that goes with it as well, the production, it's a lot of hard work. So it's pretty amazing for people who come on to these talent shows, have a flourishing career, especially 20 years after it. So that's pretty good effort.
The winner of Pop Idol 2002 is Will.
Obviously, after the success of season 1, everyone was anticipating like season 2 of the show, and they got it. They got a season 2, and it was bigger and more packed than the last one, which which I don't think people really could comprehend. And I think they had a lot more people this time. Or I think they had about 10,000 again. Excuse me. Which they didn't change the format of the show at all. The same show, same show, same format. So if it works, why fix it, right? If it's not broken, why fix it, right? Um, but it was a lot more competitive this time, and we had we had more finalists in this time. So the live finals were a 9 week still, but then they had 12 singers come in this time, and I'll rattle a few. I'll rattle them off as well. Somebody's gonna listen to this and will be like, I remember this when I was like a teenager or in my early 20s. Um, which you'd be surprised how nostalgic some of this sounds, right? So you had, let's rattle off some names off here. Michelle McGuinness, Mark Rhodes, Sam Nixon, Chris Hyde, Susan Manning, Roxanne Cooper, Andy Scott Lee, who is the brother of Lisa Scott Lee from Steps, Kim G, that's Kim and G. So I was waiting for a wrestling fan to comment, what, Kim G? No, not that Kim G, just Kim G. Brian Almond, if I could say that name right, wrong, I'm sorry. Mark Dillon, Kirsty Crawford, and Leon McFarzen. These guys and girls were all the finalists, obviously. And you look at it and you just go, well, you'd be surprised how many people are up and down on their rankings in this, you know? So you've got, obviously, these will be the order of people who were eliminated. Now, the first 2 weeks had a double elimination, which I was really surprised with, looking back in it. Because you had like one go every week, but this one was like, because you had 12 finalists instead of 9 or 10 from the previous series, they obviously had to do a double elimination to be within that 9 week process. So Leon and Kirsty had been eliminated the first week's round. Mark and Brian eliminated second. Kim was eliminated on week 3. Andy Scott Lee was eliminated on the 4th week. Roxanne eliminated week 5. Suzanne eliminated week 6. Chris Hyde was eliminated week 7. Sam Nixon was eliminated week 8. Mark Rhodes and Michelle McGuinness were McCannis. I could be saying their name wrong. I apologize in advance. Somebody's going to correct me going, oh, you're saying the name wrong. Sorry, all right? And these two were the obvious finalists. Now, if you look at the week by week of their voting, the percentage and whatnot, Michelle was 5th in the first week, and Mark was 10th in the first week, which was pretty incredible. And Sam was second. You know, Suzanne was first that week, which is incredible. And then you look further on, Michelle was first, Mark was 7th, Sam was 5th, 6th, 2nd, 5th, 1st, 5th, 2nd, 1st, 5th, 2nd, 2nd, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then you had the runners, the winners and the runners up. Which, if you look at the top three, Michelle, Mark, and Sam, they were pretty close together all the way through the final weeks. Obviously, they're not as cut and dry as like what Will Young and Gareth Gates were. They were pretty much up and down on the spectrum. But ultimately, these were the three, the top three, which led then to Michelle McCannis. I could be saying that wrong. Somebody will tell me. Became the winner. Not only the winner of season 2, but the first female winner of the show as well, which was pretty awesome to see. Where she had 58.2% of the vote, and Mark, who came runner up, had 41.8% of the vote. So there's quite a significant gap there voting wise, but Michelle at that time was the worthy winner. Mark gracious in defeat. Um, but again, this is the example now of where winners and the runners up kind of go on different trajectories in life, with careers and whatnot. Michelle had a pretty successful singing career, but I don't remember her past the first album she brought out, because I don't know if she brought another album out after that. Um, I don't know if it's because of blind ignorance or whether the taste of my music and my TV shows were changing at the time. I don't remember a second album. However, Mark Rhodes and Sam Nixon did have a flourishing career after Pop Idol, where they did do. I think they didn't they did do singing duet, releasing albums and singles together, and then they did end up on. As memory serves me right, they landed on CBBC as well, doing kids shows, because I remember them through my teens in CBBC, watching them doing different TV shows and whatnot, and they were pretty on TV religiously all the time, and they were really, really good presenters. I don't know where they went after this. I don't really know where everybody else went after this. I think Andy Scott Lee did a show with his sister Lisa and whatnot, like one of the first celebrity reality shows. But I don't know where everybody else has gone now. So it would be pretty cool to see like a reunion show of, because it's been 20 years since Pop Idol's been out now, and I think it'd be pretty cool to see where everybody is now these days, what they're up to, what life has been like since Pop Idol. Obviously, we know what Will Young and Gareth Gates' lives have been like. Obviously, Darius no longer with us, unfortunately. But yeah, I think we'd like to see this. I think I'd like to see it personally, just to see where they go from here, see where they are now in life. Obviously, the show only made it 2 seasons. The last show in was the final in 2003, in which people were anticipating the third season. However, they were having, I think they were having a lot more success elsewhere, and Simon Cowell came out the following year in 2004 then for a release of the first X Factor, which would ultimately replace Pop Idol. And we'll talk about X Factor another day. But Pop Idol is still around now with the variations of the show. From, you've got American Idol now these days, still running to this day. You've got Australian Idol as well. I think you got Canadian Idol as well. There's quite a few shows. Yeah, there's quite a few shows that run with it now, with the somewhat Pop Idol name. But those are obviously some of the few some of the few spin-offs that you can get now. World Idol as well was another one as well. And now to these days, you've still got, and the Pop Idol legacy still lives on now with X Factor, The Voice, Britain's Got Talent, and all these TV shows, which is awesome, because like it helps highlight the talent that people have, and so somewhat. Some people might say, is the voting rigged and whatnot? I mean, like, not. I don't know. I can't really say it because I'm not on the show. I don't watch it religiously enough. But if people who watch the shows enough know what the show is, what the voting systems were like, and it's obviously elevated throughout the year as well. Through the years with like smartphones and apps and whatnot these days, because not everybody phones in to vote now. It's all done through an app and everything else like that now. But ultimately, Pop Idol has its legacy behind it with 2 shows, and then 50 versions of the show, including American Idol, World Idol, Australia Idol. I've ripped them off as well. Plus, if it wasn't for Pop Idol, we wouldn't be getting stars like Kelly Clarkson today either. So, fans can thank these shows for bringing these talents in, which is pretty cool. If I had to give it a score, for me, say out of 2001, because that's when the first series came out. Out of 2001, I would probably give it a solid 1995, because just how the show's legacy has built and grown in different fragments of what of the foundation it laid with other shows that we get now today. So, with that being said, we'll play the audio for the winner of season 2, and then we'll do the intro and without the outro and get out of here. Thanks, people. So, here you go.
The winner of Pop Idol 2003 is Michelle!
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That was episode 8 of the Multiverse of Entertainment podcast. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. I do appreciate it. If you haven't done so yet and you want to listen to more, please check out all our socials. Check us out at Instagram at the Multiverse of Entertainment pod. Check us out on YouTube as well, where you get the video version of the show. Just search the Multiverse of Entertainment pod on YouTube. Drop a subscribe, drop a like, share with a friend, comment below as well. I will read your comments out on the podcast as well, either in the intro or at the end of the show, which I really appreciate it. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on TikTok as well at Mo Podcast. Each week we will drop a clip of the upcoming show, which I'm trying to do every Wednesday, and the show lands every Monday. So please go and check that out. Do appreciate it. And I think that is it. Next week we are back on the movie trail with episode 9, and this one is going to be a rather interesting one to talk about. Next week we are talking about the 1993 video game movie Super Mario Brothers with Bob Hoskins. Do not miss it. See you next week. Have a good one, guys. Check us out as well on Spotify. Follow us and leave us a review on there as well. We do appreciate it. Have a good one. See you next week. Have a good one. Peace.